Namaste students, welcome back to my channel. In our previous videos, we have studied about the different atomic properties, physical properties and chemical properties of the elements of oxygen family. Now in this video, we will take a special element of oxygen family, and that is the dioxygen. So today in this video, we will study all about the dioxygen. So without any delay, let's get started. Dioxygen. Dioxygen means O2. So first of all, we will talk about the preparatory methods of the dioxygen. That how we can prepare dioxygen. We can prepare dioxygen by number of methods. We will discuss a number of methods through which we can prepare dioxygen. So the very first method is the thermal decomposition of oxygen-rich compound. Thermal decomposition of oxygen-rich compounds. We have many compounds in our nature which are rich in oxygen. So on heating the compounds which are rich in oxygen, we get dioxygen. For example, KMnO4. On heating KMnO4, we get K2MnO4 plus MnO2 plus O2. Similarly, we have KNO3. KNO3 on heating, it decomposes to give KNO2 plus O2. So the first method is the thermal decomposition of the oxygen-rich compound, means those compounds which are rich on oxygen. When we heat those compounds, we get dioxygen. This is the first method. Second method is the laboratory method. That is how we can prepare oxygen in a lab. First, we can prepare oxygen in lab by using KClO3, potassium chlorate. By using KClO3, we can prepare oxygen in the lab. On heating KClO3, it decomposes to give KCl plus O2. On heating KClO3, it decomposes to give KCl and O2. This example we can also give in the first type of reaction, because KClO3 is also a compound which is oxygen rich. So in lab we can prepare by thermal decomposition, or we can prepare dioxygen by the thermal decomposition of KClO3. Second, we can also prepare dioxygen in the laboratory by the action of the water on sodium peroxide. By action of water on sodium peroxide, that is Na2O2. So what happened? Na2O2 when reacts with water, on heating it gives NaOH plus O2. So in lab, when we heat a mixture of NaO2 and water, or when we react water and sodium peroxide, on heating the mixture we get NaOH and dioxygen. We can also prepare dioxygen through Na2O2 by using potassium permanganate in acidic medium. The example, the reaction is KMnO4 plus H2SO4 plus Na2O2. On heating gives K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus Na2SO4 plus H2O plus O2. So in this way, by these three methods, we can prepare dioxygen in our lab. What are these three methods? By heating KClO3, second by reacting Na2O2 with water, and third by reacting Na2O2 with the acidified potassium permanganate solution. So with these three methods we can prepare dioxygen in our lab. Now If we talk about the third method, by thermal decomposition of oxides of heavy metal. Now, some of the oxides of heavy metal, like that of the mercury or lead, these oxides on heating decompose to give the dioxygen. For example, HgO on heating it gives Hg plus O2. Pb3O4 on heating gives PbO plus O2. Similarly, Ag2O on heating gives Ag plus O2. So the oxides of some heavy metals, they on heating decompose to give dioxygen. So by this method also we get dioxygen. So we have studied three methods. First, thermal decomposition of oxygen rich compound. Second, in lab we can prepare by heating KClO3 by reacting Na2O2 with water, or by reacting Na2O2 with acidified KMnO4 solution. By thermal decomposition of the oxides of some heavy metals like silver, mercury and lead. Now fourth method we will study, that is the commercial preparation. Of dioxygen. Now dioxygen can be prepared in a very large scale, either through air or through water. So commercial preparation means preparation in a large scale. So we can prepare dioxygen in a large scale either by air or by water. Now first, if I talk about air, through air we can prepare a large amount of the dioxygen by liquefaction of air, by liquefaction and fractional distillation. Distillation of air. So by liquefaction followed by the fractional distillation of the air, we can prepare dioxygen in a very large amount. Similarly, if I talk about water, so we can prepare dioxygen by the electrolysis of water, in which we get oxygen at anode and hydrogen at cathode. So these are the methods through which we can prepare dioxygen. First, the thermal decomposition of the oxygen rich compound. Second, laboratory method. In laboratory we have three different methods for the preparation of dioxygen. Third, thermal decomposition of the oxides of heavy metal like lead, silver and mercury. And fourth one, commercial preparation either through air or water. If we have air, through fractional distillation and liquefaction we can prepare dioxygen, and if we have water, then through the electrolysis of water we can prepare dioxygen. So this is all about the preparation of dioxygen. Now we will study the physical properties of dioxygen. What we will study? The physical properties. What are the different physical properties of dioxygen? So in physical properties, first we will talk about the color, odor and the taste. What we will study? That the color, odor and the taste. So the very first point of the physical property of dioxygen is, it is colorless, odorless and tasteless gas. It is colorless, odorless and tasteless gas. Second physical property of dioxygen is, it is slightly soluble in water. It is not too much soluble in water. It is slightly soluble in water. Next point, it liquefies at 90 degree and it freezes at 55 degree. Clear? First point, it is a colorless, odorless and tasteless gas. Colorless, odorless and tasteless gas. Second, it is slightly soluble in water. Third, it liquefies at 90 degrees and freezes at 55 degree. Fourth property is it has 3 stable isotopes. It has 3 stable isotopes. It has 3 stable isotopes, O816, O817 and O818. So it has 3 stable isotopes, O816, O817 and O818. Next, it is paramagnetic. It is paramagnetic. Though it contains even number of electrons. Dioxygen means O2 and in oxygen we have how many electrons? We have 8 electrons. So the total electron becomes 16. So though it have even number of electrons but still it is paramagnetic. And why it is paramagnetic we get to know through its molecular orbital diagram configuration. So what is molecular orbital diagram configuration? That is sigma s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, sigma 2pz2, pi 2px2 is equals to pi 2py2, pi star 2px1 is equals to pi star 2py1. So these two anti-bonding orbitals have unpaired electron, and because of these unpaired electron, dioxygen is paramagnetic. So it is paramagnetic though it contains even number of electrons. So these are the 5 physical properties of the dioxygen. Now we will deal with the chemical properties of dioxygen. We will deal with the chemical properties of dioxygen. Now, before starting of the chemical properties of dioxygen, first thing you have to remember that the reaction of the dioxygen always require an initiation of heating. What I am saying, that the reaction of dioxygen requires initiation of heating. Now why these required initiation of heating? Because the bond dissociation energy of dioxygen is very high. Bond dissociation energy of O2 is very high, nearly 493 kilojoule per mole. Nearly 493 kilojoule per mole. So what is bond dissociation energy? The amount of energy which is required to break the bond. So the amount of energy which is required to break the bond of the oxygen molecule is very high, and therefore the reactions of dioxygen always requires initiation of heating. Initially the reactions require heating. But why not after starting of the reaction? Because the reactions of dioxygen are exothermic. Exothermic means the reactions in which a large amount of heat is released. So the reactions of dioxygen are highly exothermic. So when dioxygen reacts with some other elements, initially they required heating to break the bond between the molecule of dioxygen. But as soon as the reaction starts, the energy is itself released in the reaction, and this energy is used in the further reaction. And because of this we required heating only initially. We required initial heating, not the overall heating. So first thing you have to keep in your mind that the reactions of dioxygens required initial heating because the bond association enthalpy of dioxygen is very high, but after that we don't require any heating because the reaction of dioxygen is exothermic, as a result of which a very large amount of heat is released which is utilized in further reaction. Now we will start the chemical properties of dioxygen. So the very first chemical property of dioxygen is action on litmus. The very first property of dioxygen is chemical property is action on litmus. Action on litmus. So dioxygen is neutral on litmus. Dioxygen is neutral on litmus. Is neutral on litmus. So it is neither acidic nor basic. Next we will talk about the combustibility. Next we will talk about the combustibility. Now dioxygen is not a combustible gas, but yes, it is a supporter of combustion. So what we will write, that dioxygen is not combustible, but it is supporter of combustion. It is supporter of combustion. It is the supporter of combustion. Next, oxidation. Third property is oxidation. So dioxygen is very good oxidizing agent and it reacts with a number of metals, number of non-metals and compounds to form the oxidized product. So first of all, we will talk about the reaction with metals. First of all, we will talk about the reaction with metals. Now, if we talk about very highly reactive metals, very high reactive metals like sodium, reactive metals like sodium. So with sodium, dioxygen reacts at room temperature to form sodium oxide. With sodium, dioxygen reacts with the sodium at the room temperature to form, means the reaction is too fast. With very reactive metals, the reaction is too fast. Na reacts with oxygen at the room temperature to form Na2O. But if we heat dioxygen with Na at 575 Kelvin, not at room temperature, if we heat these two elements, these two molecules at 575 Kelvin, then we get Na2O2. So at room temperature we will get Na2O, but at 575 Kelvin we will get Na2O2. Now, if I talk about magnesium, which is less reactive than sodium. So, magnesium reacts with dioxygen on heating. Magnesium reacts with dioxygen on heating, but the amount of heating required is very less. So on burning magnesium in the presence of oxygen, we get magnesium oxide. And aluminium, which is less reactive than the magnesium. So aluminium reacts with oxygen on heating. Here the heating should be greater than that of this. But keep in mind that we required only the initial heating. We will required only the initial heating. Later the reaction will carry on by its own because the reaction is exothermic. So Al reacts with O2 on heatings to form Al2O3. So in this way, dioxygen reacts with metals to form the respective oxides. With very high reactive metal, the temperature is not so much required. With little bit less reactive metal, little bit amount of temperature is required. With more less reactive metal, little more temperature is required. So dioxygen reacts with a number of metals to form the respective oxides. Similarly, if I talk about reaction with non-metals. So the dioxygen reacts with dihydrogen at 1073 Kelvin to form water. This is our first reaction, that dioxygen reacts with dihydrogen at 1073 Kelvin to form H2O. Similarly, N2 reacts with O2. N2 reacts with O2 at 3300 Kelvin to form NO. And this reaction occurs in our sky during the lightning. So this reaction occurs during the lightning in the sky. Because in our atmosphere we know that we have both the gas, nitrogen as well as the oxygen. So during lightning the temperature reach up to 3300 Kelvin, and at this temperature dinitrogen and dioxygen reacts to form NO. So in this way dioxygen reacts with the non-metal to form the respective compounds. O2 plus H2 gives H2O, N2 plus O2 gives NO. Next, reaction with sulfur. S plus O2 on heating gives SO2. S plus O2 on simple heating gives SO2. Similarly, C plus O2. If this O2 is limited, then on heating we get carbon monoxide. But if this O2 is present in excess, then on heating we get carbon dioxide. So dioxygen reacts with carbon to form two products, CO and CO2, and which of the product will form, it depends upon the amount of the dioxygen. Next, if we talk about phosphorus, P4 plus O2, if it is limited, if we react phosphorus with limited amount of oxygen, then we get P4O6. But if we react P4 with the excess amount of dioxygen, then on heating we get P4O10. So in this way dioxygen reacts with a number of non-metals to form the respective corresponding oxides. So dioxygen reacts with metals, dioxygen reacts with non-metals. Now we will study that how dioxygen reacts with the compounds and acts as an oxidizing agent. So first compound we will take, that is reaction with compound. So first compound we will take, that is with SO2. So O2 reacts with SO2 at 750 Kelvin, 2 atm in the presence of platinum and vanadium pentaoxide as a catalyst. When this dioxygen reacts with sulfur dioxide at 750 Kelvin and 2 atm in the presence of platinum and vanadium pentaoxide as a catalyst, then we get SO3. And this is the base method of the contact process which is used in the preparation of the sulfuric acid. So this is the base method of the contact process which is used for the preparation of the sulfuric acid. Now next, this dioxygen reacts with ammonia at 500 Kelvin, 9 bar pressure in the presence of platinum and rhodium. Then we get nitric oxide plus H2O, and this forms the base step of the Ostwald process which is used in the preparation of the nitric acid. So what is Ostwald process? The process which is used in the preparation of the nitric acid. So this is the base method in which ammonia reacts with the dioxygen at 500 Kelvin, 9 bar pressure in the presence of platinum and rhodium to form NO plus H2O. Next, third, this dioxygen reacts with HCl at 700 Kelvin. At 700 Kelvin in the presence of CuCl2 as a catalyst. In the presence of CuCl2 as a catalyst, then we get H2O plus Cl2. When we get H2O and Cl2, and this is the base method, this is the base step of the Deccan process, which is used in the preparation of the chlorine. So means how much important the dioxygen. Dioxygen reacts with sulfur dioxide to form SO3, and this forms the base method for the preparation of sulfuric acid. Dioxygen reacts with ammonia to form nitric oxide, which is the base method for the preparation of nitric acid. Dioxygen reacts with HCl to form H2O plus Cl2, which is the base method of the Deccan process, which is the formation of the, which is used in the preparation of the chlorine. Now, third, this dioxygen reacts with the hydrocarbons. This dioxygen reacts with the hydrocarbons as well as the carbon disulfide. So, dioxygen reacts with carbon disulfide on heating to form CO2 plus SO2. This dioxygen reacts with carbon disulfide simply on heating to form CO2 and SO2. And this dioxygen reacts with the hydrocarbons, alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. And in all the case, we get only two products, that is CO2 and H2O. For example, if I have methane when reacts with O2 on heating gives CO2 plus H2O. Similarly, if I have ethene, C2H4 plus O2 on heating gives CO2 plus H2O. And if we have C2H2 plus O2 on heating, we get CO2 plus H2. So what is the difference in these reactions? The difference in these reactions is the energies which we get. The maximum energy we will get in alkanes, because the alkane have large amount of carbon content, then alkene, and the least energy we will get in alkyne. And because we get energies through these reactions, therefore these reactions are known as combustible reactions. These reactions are known as combustible reactions, and because of these reactions, hydrocarbons are known as fuels. Hydrocarbons are known as fuels because when they burn with the oxygen, they produce heat. So these are the properties, chemical properties of the dioxygen. Now we will study the uses of dioxygen. So the very first use of dioxygen is, what we will study now? We will study the uses of dioxygen. Uses. Now in uses, first of all, the dioxygen is used in oxy, hydrogen and oxyacetylene torches. The dioxygens are used in oxyhydrogen and oxyacetylene torches. And why these are used in oxyhydrogen and oxyacetylene torches? Because these torches are used in cutting and welding of metals. Because the reaction between the oxygen and hydrogen and the reaction between oxygen and acetylene is an exothermic reaction, so a large amount of heat is released, and that amount of heat is used in the cutting and the welding of the metals. So dioxygen are used in these two torches for the cutting and welding of metals. The next property of the dioxygen is it is used in artificial respiration. It is used in the artificial respiration in hospitals during surgery, during surgery, or it is also used in the artificial respiration by the pilots and mountaineers at the high altitude, and also used by the sea divers. So the second use is the dioxygen is used in the artificial respiration in hospital during surgery, used by the pilots and mountaineers at high altitude, and by the sea divers at in the deep sea. Next, liquid dioxygen is used as rocket fuel. It is used as rocket fuel because the bond dissociation enthalpy of dioxygen is very high, therefore it is used as a rocket fuel. The next property of dioxygen is it is used in the manufacture of many compounds. Like we have studied in the chemical properties that in the preparation of sulfuric acid, in the preparation of nitric acid, in the preparation of chlorine, in the preparation of phenol. So dioxygen is used in the manufacture of many compounds. So these are the different uses of the dioxygen. So students, we have studied the preparation, physical properties, chemical properties, and the uses of dioxygen. So students, that's all for today. I'll see you in my next video with a new topic.